Hello, children, to our channel's Fairy Tale Stories. This is a channel dedicated to you. Several times a week I will publish good night stories. Hopeful you have a good feet and have already frowned and wait for the stories of impatience. Tonight we're gonna tell you a story about Snow Queen. Christian Andersen is writer. Once there was an evil wizard who made a mirror with his dark magic. If anything good or beautiful was put in front of the mirror, the reflection that showed back was only rotten and gray. The wizard laughed. He wanted to show his evil mirror to the whole world. He took it and flew up high into the sky. He flew so fast that the mirror started to shake. He couldn't no longer hold on it, and the mirror dropped. It smashed it on many tiny sharp bits of glass on the ground. Years later, a boy named Kai and girl named Gerda were friends. They lived next door to each other. Both of them had their bedrooms in the attic. When they opened the attic windows, they were so close they could reach out and touch fingers. An old gutter ran between the two roofs. In the gutter where ran through the families had planted a garden with vegetables and roses. It was like Kai and Gerda's very own garden. Kai and Gerda's families were poor. There were no toys to play with, but they did not mind. They played in their garden on the roof and were happy. One day, Gerda and Kai were on the roof weeding the garden. All of a sudden, a gust of wind blew by it. It blew a sharp bit of that evil glass right in the Kai's eyes. He stood up, stepping on the roses. "I do not want to weed this stupid garden anymore," he said. "Okay," said Gerda. "Do you know you're stepping on the roses? How about a clapping game?" But Kai cried out, "I don't care if I step on the roses, and I never want to play with you, Gerda, ever again." The next day Kai took his sled into town. Ah, that sled was so slow. A big wheel sled was coming down the road very fast. The sleigh came close to Kai, and as it did, it slowed down just a bit. Kai had an idea. He quickly tied the rope of his sled onto the back of this sleigh. Now he couldn't ride behind on his sled. But what Kai did not know, it was driving in sled was the evil Snow Queen. The Snow Queen in her white fur coat has known very well the Kai was on the road. She had slowed down his sled when she got closer to give him a chance to tie on the rope. She did not turn around to look. She knew that Kai was speeding along behind her. Soon he would be near frozen with cold. Then she knew It will be easy to make him hers. The Snow Queen drove on. When she knew Kai must be bitter cold, she stopped the slide. She went up to the boy. "You want to ride behind my big slide?" said the Snow Queen. "I can make it so you do not feel the cold." Kai shivered. "I'll give you one kiss on your cheek. Then you will no longer feel cold." Kai nodded. She kissed him on the cheek. He no longer felt cold. "Now one more kiss," said Snow Queen. "With this one you will forget all about Gerda and your family." Before Kai could not say anything, the Snow Queen had kissed the other cheek. She louder and said, "If I kiss you 3 times on your forehead, you will die. But I have things for you to do for me back to my place." Then she got into her sleigh and drove on. Kai did not return home that day or the day after that. You can imagine how spent everyone was. They say poor Kai must have drowned in the river. Gerda ran down on the river. She called out of the waters rushing by. "Is it true?" The river would not say. Gerda took off her red shoes and helped him up. She said she would throw her red shoes in the river if only the river would give back Kai. But the river would not let her throw in the shoes. And that is how Gerda knew that he must not be under the water. But where was he? Gerda went many places looking for Kai. She went to see a witch. The witch tried to trick Gerda into staying with her forever. Gerda ran hour very fast, just in time. Then she met a crow. The crow told Gerda that to find Kai, she must go to the place of a princess. So off went Gerda to the place of the princess. She did not know anything about Kai, but they gave Gerda warm clothes and a beautiful coat. She could ride on her way. Gerda was riding her horse when a band of robbers jumped up from behind. The robbers were led by a robber girl. The robber girl made Gerda go into the back of the horse. When she took the reins, and Gerda was her prisoner. "How terrible! I'm so sorry for you," said Gerda. "But you saw my dear Kai. Where was the slide headed?" "Most like Snow Queen was going to her place in Lapland," said the first dove that was where is snow and ice all year long. Poor Gerda, she had lost her coat. She was a prisoner, and she had no more clue than ever where to find Kai. The robber girl took Gerda back to the house where she lived. Gerda must sleep in the barn in a corner next to a rider. When the robber girl has left, Gerda cried out. Oh, Kai, where are you? Two white dove birds up high in the loft of the barn heard her cry. Said one dove to her, we remember seeing that boy Kai you speak of. You do? Said Gerda. What a sad day that was, said the other dove. That was when the snow queen drove by on her sled. The boy Kai was riding behind on his sled very fast. We were sitting in our nest, said the first dove. When that evil snow queen passed by, she turned and breathed on us. The dove could not finish, and the other one say, only my brother and I live after that. How terrible! I'm so sorry for you, said Gerd. But you saw my dear Kai. Where was the slide headed? Most like Snow Queen was going to her place in Lapland. Say the first dove that was where is snow and ice all year long. How will I ever find this place, Lapland? Said Gerda. Then the reindeer who was wrapped to a bow spoke up. I know all about Lapland, said the reindeer. It is where I was born. Please, could you take me there? Said Gerda. Yes, I could, if only you and I were free of this place. But who knows how long we must stay there? The robber girl was just outside the barn door all this time. She was not really so mean after all. She went to the barn and cut the ropes that bound the reindeers. She helped Greta mount the reindeers and gave her a cushion to sit on. She even gave Gerda a pair of fur boots, two loaves and bread, and a piece of bacon too. Be off now, said the robber girls. Find your friend. Off like the wind flew Gerda and the reindeer. They rode and rode until it got dark. Then they need to find a place to stay for the night. They knocked on the door of a hut, and the old woman opened the door and welcomed them in. Gerda and the reindeer told her about their search of find Kai. The old woman said, you still have a long way to go to get to Lapland. The Snow Queen place is 100 miles away. How will we find it? Said Gerda. The windows of her palace burn with a blue light that can be seen for miles around, said she. You can't miss it. But when you get there, do not go right up to the place. First, look for a cabin nearby with a red door. Inside that cabin lives a Lapland woman I know. The old woman picks up a piece of dried fish and wrote some words on it. Give her this fish, said the old woman, and she will help you. The next day, the reindeer and Gerda rode as fast as they could. They flew like wind for 3 days. On third day, they saw blue light from up. When they got closer, they saw It was a large, dark place. Nearby, just as old woman he'd say, was a cabin with a red door. Very cold, odor. We were they, and hungry too, and glad when Lapland woman opened the door and led them warm, Thames safely by her fire. Gerda told her that they had come looking her dear friend Kai, and that Kai was last seen with the Snow Queen. She handed the fish to the Lapland woman. She read the word on the fish 3 times. Then she put into the pot on the fire for soup, as she never wanted to waste anything. And so Gerda mounted the rider, and off they went. "Oh no," said Gerda, after the cabin was no longer in sight. "I left my 4 boots behind." But there was no time to back, so on they went. At the bush with red berries, Gerda climbed off the reindeer. There she was, with no boots and her feet bare in the cold snow. But the Snow Queen's place was right there of her, its blue light burning in the windows, so Gerda walked on. As she went, she called and called for Kai. At last, there was. He was sitting on top of frozen lake, down on his nest. A tree sat on the lake, and it was empty. The Snow Queen had given Kai a job of setting pieces of ice into words. Other pieces of ice he must make into numbers. For this frozen lake was the lake of reason, and the throne was the very throne of the Snow Queen. "Kai!" called Gerda, but he did not look up. Kai's skin was dark blue, as if he was frozen. He had so little feeling left, he did not even notice the cold anymore. The Snow Queen was away, and Kai was busy with his task, working on the frozen lake. He moves one piece of ice here and another there, making the words and numbers. "Kai!" called again Gerda. Still Kai did not look up. Gerda ran right up to his face. "Kai! Kai!" At last Kai looked up, but he looked right past her with his deep dark eyes and did not see her at all. Gerda burst into tears. Cold and cutting was the wind of the lake as Gerda cried, "Kai, where are you?" One of her tears blew right in the Kai's face. The tears burned his face until his whole face felt hot. Then Kai too was crying. "Gerda," said Kai, "it is you." Kai shied. He cried with joy, for the evil bit of glass was washed from his eyes. Kai took Gerda's hands. Too they were both frozen cold. Each of them felt warm inside. Gerda and Kai walking hand in hand back to the bush with the red berries where the reindeers wanted. As they walked, the sun came out and warmed and dried them. The wind stopped and birds started to creep. Before they knew it, there was the reindeer in front of them. The reindeer took them back to the first old woman who gave Gerda a new pair of the boots. Each of them got a fur hat too. As the reindeer carries them on the long road back home, who comes along the road but the robber girl? She was right the code. She had a token from Gerda, but Gerda was glad to see her. Just the same, the robber girl said to Gerda, "So this is the friend you traveled all the way across the world to save. I hope he was worth it." The owl smiled. The robber girl said that should hop up her sleigh and she would give them a lift home. By the time the lift got home, it was summertime, much to try surprise that were all grown up. In the years that come to be Gerda and Kaya's day, the best friend, there were no more adventure with the Snow Queen or the cold frozen north, and each lived a quiet life. But they knew deep down that no matter what, they would always look out for each other. If you like this video, make sure you like it and subscribe on our channel. To, that, to the next video, sleep well and listen to our stories. Good night.